I was in hospital for 11 days. A minor heart procedure. Nothing life-threatening, the doctors said. Rest, monitor, recover. I was 69 years old, and I had never spent a single night in hospital in my life. I was frightened. I did not want to show it, but I was frightened. My stepdaughter Vanessa said, "Don't worry about anything at home. I will handle everything. You just get better." She had been in my life for 22 years, since she was 14, since I married her father. We were not always close. The early years were difficult, the way those years often are. But we had found our way to something real, something I believed in. She called me her mum in her wedding speech. I cried. So when she said, "Don't worry about anything," I didn't. I should have. On the third day in hospital, my phone rang. It was my solicitor, Graham. Not a social call. Graham did not make social calls. He said, "Margaret, I need you to tell me whether you have instructed an estate agent to list your property." I told him I had not. There was a pause. Then he said, "I see. Then we need to talk as soon as possible." He came to the hospital the following morning. He brought documents. He placed them on the table beside my bed and he said, "Someone has listed your house for sale. Using a power of attorney they claim you signed 6 weeks ago." I had signed no such document. What Graham showed me next, the document with my name on it, the signature beneath it, I stared at it for a long time. I knew my own handwriting. I had known it for 69 years. What was on that page was not it. Vanessa had forged my signature. Graham had noticed it because I had made him a standing instruction years earlier, after my husband died and I was navigating his estate alone, that any document involving my property required his direct sign-off. He had received an automated notification when the listing appeared. Something had felt wrong to him. He had pulled the file. He had seen the power of attorney. He had known immediately it was not right. 11 days in hospital. She had not waited 2 weeks. I asked Graham, "What do we do?" He said, "We have already done it. The listing has been frozen. The estate agent has been notified. The police have been called. And Vanessa does not know any of this yet." I lay back on that hospital pillow, and I felt something I cannot fully describe. Not anger, though the anger came later. Something colder. The specific grief of understanding that someone you loved, someone you built a life alongside, someone who called you mum at her wedding. That person had stood in your house, found your documents, practiced your handwriting, and decided that 11 days was enough time for you not to notice. What she had not calculated, what she had missed entirely, was that I had built a system specifically for moments when I could not protect myself. I was discharged 4 days later. Graham met me outside the hospital. He told me the full picture. The estate agent had been contacted by a buyer, a cash buyer, a quick sale, significantly below market value. A sale designed to close fast, to close before I came home. The buyer, it later emerged, was a friend of Vanessa's partner. The price they had agreed was 40% below what the house was worth. They had planned to pocket the difference and tell me the market had been difficult. The police spoke to Vanessa 2 days after I came home. I was not present for that conversation. Graham advised me not to be. He said it would be cleaner. He said, "Let the process do what it does." Vanessa called me that evening. She cried. She said she had been desperate, that there were debts I didn't know about, that she had told herself she would pay it back, that she had never meant for it to go this far, that she loved me. I listened to everything she said. Then I said, "I know you have spoken to the police. I know you have spoken to Graham. Whatever happens next will be decided by the courts, not by this conversation." Then I said one more thing. I said, "You called me Mum at your wedding. I want you to think about that." And I put the phone down. She did not go to prison. The legal process found mitigating circumstances. There was an arrangement made, a repayment structured, a formal caution rather than a conviction. I did not fight for the harsher outcome. I was tired. And somewhere underneath the fury there was still, despite everything, the woman who had cried at that wedding speech. But she is not in my life anymore. That door closed the day Graham placed those documents on my hospital bedside table. My house is still mine. My signature is still mine. And before I was discharged, before I came home, I made Graham add one more instruction to my file. I told him, "If anything touches this property without my voice on the phone, you call me first. No exceptions. No matter where I am." He said, "Already done, Margaret." I am telling you this story for one reason. When you are vulnerable, when you are in a hospital, or grieving, or overwhelmed, or simply not watching, there are people who will move. Sometimes strangers, sometimes people you love. Build your systems before you need them. Find your Graham before the phone rings. Because the call I received on day 3 saved my home. And I was not the one who made that system work. I had built it, years earlier, quietly, when I was strong enough to think clearly. That is the lesson. If this story reached you, share it. Someone in your life needs to hear it. Subscribe if you haven't. Like it. And leave a comment. Tell me if you have ever had to protect yourself from someone you trusted. I read every one.